Hi guys, this is Eunice. Welcome to Shore Herbal Medicine. Welcome to Shore Herbal Knowledge. Today we have a great herb. Again, some of you may know and some of you may not. We are going to be talking about neem. And neem can can be used in two different formulations, and so far it can be used as an oil, and it excuse me, can be used as an herbal capsule as well, and and all that. This herb has so many great benefits and so far and everything that you're going to be really glad that you have tuned into this here video. And as I always say, if this herbal medicine or knowledge cannot help you, pass it on to someone that it may can help and so far, because we all do want to live a wellness life. Okay, the first thing I want to say about neem is that it's used for centuries, and I know I'm going to butcher it right here. The Judic and Chinese medicine, it goes way back there. It's traditionally used in Chinese medicine and so forth. And for some people, this medicine is definitely, this herb is definitely well known, and some people it's not, and all that. And it has a lot of health benefits and so far for the skin and for the internal symptom and all that. So that's the reason why you can use it in both ways and so forth, which I'm going to get into. I know I'm rumbling so far. I'm just getting started. I apologize for that and so forth. Okay, let's just go ahead and start with the oral benefits of neem. Neem does help in, again, so many ways and so forth. For oral health benefit, it does fight plaque and gingivitis, and it reduces cavities and bad breath as well. It also strengthens and the teeth and gum and so forth. And you're wondering probably is how that works and so forth. Again, I did say two formulations and so forth. Also, too, neem is also in some mouthwashes and things like that as well. It is one of the ingredients and so forth. But if you have neem oil, you can rub that on your gum and so forth. And also, neem oil can be rubbed on the tongue to help with bad breath. And it also, when you rub it on your gums and so forth, it does help strengthen your teeth and so forth, and things like that. So those is one way that you can use it and so forth. You can also research what mouthwash that has neem in it if you want to use it as a rinse or something like that to help you. But if you want to use the certified organic neem oil and so forth, something that you can trust that's there for you, you can use it that way and so forth. Those are the way that it helps and so forth. Also, it helps with skin conditions. So if you have neem oil and so forth, it does help with skin conditions as well. It fights infections and so forth, and that's one of the reasons it helps with the tooth, the plaque, the gingivitis, the cavities and bad breath and things like that. And it also helps the gums, strengthen the gums and so forth, because it is antibacterial and it has antifungal, antioxidant properties in neem. It has all three powerful ingredients: antioxidant, antifungal, antibacterial and so forth. So it has those three properties to address various skin issues as well. Okay, skin issues. We're talking about skin diseases. You're fighting infections and so forth. Fighting infections such as acne, boils, fungal issues, including ringworms and athlete feet and I can't even pronounce that. CAN, Canadians. I'll leave that off and let you read that part. Okay. But yeah, so let's talk about that real quick. And so for the fighting of the infections and so forth. Again, with the neem oil, you rub that on. If you have a child that has ringworms and so forth, and I've known children that has had that ringworm and so forth, what you do is you rub that neem oil throughout the scalp of that child's head, or whatever, and so forth. Same thing with fungal issues, athletic feet and so forth. You rub you rub it down in neem oil, and that neem oil will soak into the skin to fight off those infections, to heal your feet and athletic feet, boils, and acne, and so forth. Acne on the face, you rub a little bit of neem oil on that, and so forth. And also, too, again, this ingredient is in a lot of the acne properties and so forth that they do have on the market and so forth. But to go straight to the key ingredients and so forth is the actual neem oil and so forth. That's going to really, really help you with acne and boils and things like that. With boils, it brings it to to the surface and so forth, and then I guess the antibacterial and so forth, gets rid of it and so forth, and all that, and heals the skin. Also, it heals wounds that don't heal really quickly and so forth. This is something that you can put on. It helps stop the infections as well. And so forth when you put it on and so forth on a wound that won't heal. A wound that won't heal is going to be infected and so forth because the situation, the living, and so forth, what you do, and things like that, most likely it's going to get infected, and neems can help with that. Also, it helps with what's that? Ringworm. Let's see, I'm on the wrong side. Okay, wounds, sores, and ulcers, right, protecting them from the infection. Again, if you have these things here and so forth, you want to use the neem oil to rub on these areas and so forth, and it will also help protect and keep them from getting infected. Sores, wounds, and so forth that don't heal, which is still sores, ulcers and things like that. Ulcers are, sores as well, that comes to the surface and things like that. So they're all sores, but they have different names to them and things like that. Okay, and yeah, I want to make sure I'm looking at my notes so I can make sure I cover everything and so forth. This is a long list of health benefits from neem, and because you can use it in two formulation, it covers a lot more than some of the herbal medicine, things like that. Also, neem reduces the inflammation. Again, the inflammation is come from the reason for the infections and all this and that so forth, and because of the antibacterial, antifungal, and antioxidant and so forth, neem is able to protect the skin area and so forth, to keep it from getting infected and so forth, and to reduce that inflammation as well because it's healing and stuff. Okay, now let's get into what needs have to do for the digestive system or the inner system and so forth. Has a whole lot of great benefits there as well. Also, before I go and jump onto this, I was about to miss two important things. Also, neem is good for anti-aging as well. And when I said that it does help with acne and things like that and so forth, it helps the skin. It's a great skin, um, you know, protector and so forth and everything, including the antioxidant helps protect the skin from aging and so forth. And also, it treat lice. I would have missed that. You know, it treat lice and so forth. So, if you and lice is also a big thing, just like that first thing that we had said and so forth. which was, let's see, where was it at? Okay, which has to do with children and so forth, and how they come home from school with head lice and things like that. Wingworms and all that stuff. These are infectious and so forth. These are infectious. Wingworms can be passed from person to person with the combs and things like that. Neem again can help with that and so forth. Help with getting rid of wingworms and all that stuff. And also lice and so forth. You catch a lot of kids spray that around in school. I know back in the day, they even had it when I was in school and so forth, and we had to go through, you know, a bunch of ordeals and so forth when we got home. Um, Parents were notified. You had to leave clothes at the door and just, do that. Heads had to be scrubbed. And all that stuff, and to keep from spreading the lice throughout the families and things like that. Also, too, it has an itch to it, and so far from what I can remember, and all that. And neem, by rubbing neems on the skins and so far, all over for lice and so far, because lice doesn't just sit in one spot; it goes into many places and so far. So this is where you want neem all over and so far to protect yourself. Okay, so now we're going to get into the inner digestive system and let you know how great neem is there as well. Okay, neem support the immune system. That is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. It also helps purify blood and so far. And I only know one herb other than neem that does that. And that's burdock root. It also helps purify blood and so far. So this is really good because you do have some people that do have stuff in their blood system and so far, and it gets to the point that you have to go to the doctor and have all that bad blood drained and fresh blood, put back in and so forth. And I forget what's that called, but they do, of course, have a medical name for that, which I don't know off the top of my head right now. Also, it's a liver detoxification and so forth, which is another great thing. We need to keep that liver healthy. We need to keep that liver running like clockwork and so forth to help us, because the liver has to do so much work, because everything we do or eat or go in here goes to the liver and all that. That digestive aid and so forth. Again, the digestive system and so forth, it helps with that as well. And this is where your herbal capsule comes in and so forth, and all that. And also, it's again an antioxidant, and it does help with neutralize free radicals that can damage your cells and things like that, cause issues and all that. So this herb is really, really great and so far, and it has been again used for centuries and centuries and so far. And still, some people don't know about neem, 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 neem. They don't know about it and so forth. Some may do and some may don't and so forth. But this is a good herb to have because this you're in school season and so far. And even if you just get the oil, neem oil, for your children, have it on hand and so far in case of head lice and also worms and all that stuff. You can use it now. Did I say worms? Yeah, I did. Because you can get these worms and so forth. Also, too, there is such a thing is let's see, worms are not actually in the scalp itself and so forth. Worms are, I believe, more into the system. I want to correct myself on that and so forth. And I do know that if you have a poor digestive system and so forth, you can have intestinal worms. which is I want to bring that up because I want to make sure I'm clarifying that and so forth. Okay, so you want to intestinal worms also too. Neem get rid of those as well, so you can have intestinal worms that will pass from you and so forth, and all that. And I do know. I remember back in the day that we had a couple kids we know that did have intestinal worms and so forth. And back in the day, if my mind serves me correct, it used to be some kind of herbal medicine, not neem. I didn't know about neem. It's called aesthetic. And you guys may know about that. I, remember we had to, my mom, after that experience and so forth and everything, we had to wear that stinky stuff around our necks and so forth. I guess some way to protect us and so forth. And then you had to drink that asphatic water that your parents came up with. Some of you guys my age may remember that. I'm sure none of you younger people know anything about it. But yeah, I remember that talking about it. It just come to me about that aesthetic and so forth and everything. So yeah, I remember that. It was a dark day back there, about then and so forth. So, getting back to names and doing the recaps and so far, we're going to go through this pretty quickly and so far because I did give you some symptoms and also describe some symptoms to you and so far. So, we're going to do this real quick again. As I was saying before I went down the rabbit hole, neem is been used for decades or centuries and centuries, Chinese medicine and so forth. And some of you do have it, and you can also use that in two different ways and so far. Uh, Formulations, oil, and herbal capsule. That's what we have on our website and so far and all that. And you can also contact me for more information and so forth. And before you start a neem herbal regimen, seek a herbalist or healthcare provider, and so forth. I always say that too. Okay, so let's get into it. Oral health. So, did we know that it can be used, consumed in the mouth, and so forth? And it also fights the plaque and gingivitis, also reduce cavities and bad breath, strengthen teeth and gums, and so forth. And by doing so, using neem oil in the mouth, you would just rub it in, and so forth to get that health benefits and so forth and things like that. Again, neem is used in ingredients for certain over the counter medicine and things like that and so forth, and then certain mouthwash and all that. Okay. Number two, it works in three categories: skin and health. Okay, it's an antioxidant, antibacterial, antifungal. So, and that it helps with the skin issues and skin infections like acne, boils, fungal issues included ringworms and so forth. Ringworms are the one that's in the head and so forth, which is just like lice can be in the head and so forth. So those are two things that you have to worry about with your kids and so forth. That is ringworms and so forth, and head lice and so forth. And neem oil can help. Also, I just mentioned intestinal worms. We'll get to that when we go to the digestive system and so forth. I'll hit that again. So it also heals because it has the anti-inflammatory properties, antiseptic properties as well. Neem promotes faster healing for wounds that don't heal well. Activated fix and sores and things like that. It heals wounds that don't heal correctly or slower, and it's also good for other skin conditions and things like that. Also for eczema and psoriasis. See what I'm saying? If you scanning through, you're gonna miss something, so you go back and do it. You're gonna catch something else, and so forth. There we go. Also for skin condition like eczema and psoriasis, I did not mention that at first, but Neem is also good for that. It heals, it prevents the cells from more damage. It helps heal slow wounds. It helps prevent inflammation or infection to sores and things like that, and all that. Great for the skin. It also helps support aging and so forth and everything to keep the skin, from going really bad. And it also treats the hair loss, which I mentioned. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get into um, internal health is the best way to say internal health and so forth. So Neem has again three categories: oral, skin, and now internal health. It supports the immune system. It also is a blood purifier. It also is a liver detoxification. It also aids the digestive system, and it also has an antioxidant effect on the free radicals and things like that. So all of these things are greatly, greatly, greatly important to our survival, to our health, and all that and so forth. And Neem is not talked about a whole lot, probably not purchased a whole lot. I know that we do sell some Neem, but it's not a whole lot. But this is truly, truly a great herb to have, and because you can use it in these two formulations and so forth, and it covers so much and so far, is really, really important and so far. It's great to have. Do your research on Neem. It's giving you a whole lot more information than I just gave you and so forth. Do your research and so forth. You can't use the information, pass it to someone that can. Before you begin herbal regimen, seek a herbalist or healthcare provider and so forth. Now, as far as the neem oil, it probably won't hurt you there to, use that if you need to do so, regardless of what medication you're on. But if you are consuming it on herbal capsule, you want to make sure you seek a herbalist or healthcare provider to make sure that neem does not interact badly with anything that you already taken and so forth. And that's the important thing with that and so forth. And I'm certainly glad that I touched base on this here Neem and so forth. And I'm not quite sure the reason why I decided on this particular herb to talk about and so forth, but I'm glad that I did. And it also brought some memories back. Also about my own childhood, being around with school life and getting those notice, parents getting those notice, and also with the intestinal worms and so forth. These things still exist, intestinal worms and so forth. And we had to wear that nasty asphatic, I think it's called that. It smells. And it tastes bad, but it works. The older parents knew about this stuff. So anyway, I thank you for joining me today. And if Neem can help you, I recommend it and so forth. I recommend that you pass it on to someone that he may can help. And I will be back again next week with more herbal knowledge and another herb to help you to live a wellness life, because this is what we all want to do and so forth. And if I can help in any way by giving you information, it is definitely my pleasure. God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.